Sometimes Allah places someone in your heart, and no matter how much time passes, their presence stays with you, quietly, gently, and deeply. You try to understand why, you try to move on, but something within holds you back, not in pain, but in patience. Could it be that Allah is asking you to wait? Not everything we desire is meant to happen instantly. In fact, some of the most meaningful connections require time, trust, and divine timing. In this video, we'll uncover 7 powerful signs that may indicate Allah wants you to wait patiently for a specific person. These signs aren't just about emotions. They're about spiritual growth, inner peace, and the journey of trusting Allah's plan over your own. If you've been wondering why someone still lingers in your thoughts or prayers, stay with us. You might find the clarity your heart is searching for. Let's begin. 1. Inner peace in uncertainty. One of the most powerful signs that Allah wants you to wait patiently for someone is the presence of inner peace, even when your situation is unclear. Normally, uncertainty brings anxiety, overthinking, and restlessness. But when Allah places something in your heart for a purpose, He also grants you a sense of calmness, even without having all the answers. You may not know what the future holds with that person, but you're not overwhelmed by fear or confusion. Instead, you feel a quiet comfort, as if your soul knows that things are unfolding exactly as they're meant to. This peace isn't forced, it's natural. It helps you carry on with life, focus on your faith, and trust in Allah's wisdom. You're not obsessed, but you're hopeful. You find it easy to surrender the matter in your du'as, leaving it in Allah's hands. Your heart stays soft, not heavy. It's a kind of tranquility that doesn't come from attachment to a person, but from surrendering to Allah's plan. When you experience this type of peaceful waiting, it's often a sign that Allah is preparing something in the background, and He's guiding you to wait with patience, not worry. That calmness is a divine reassurance. 2. Recurring signs and reminders. Another powerful sign that Allah may want you to wait patiently for a specific person is when you keep encountering subtle yet consistent reminders of them. These reminders don't feel forced or imagined. They appear naturally in your daily life. You might dream of them without even thinking about them before sleeping, or someone unexpectedly mentions their name in a random conversation. At times, you could come across something that reminds you of a shared moment, a place, or even a feeling connected to them. These signs come without you searching for them, and they usually appear when your heart is steady, not desperate. This repetition often serves as a gentle nudge from Allah, reminding you to stay patient, and that perhaps this person still has a purpose in your life. It's not always about longing, it's about awareness. These signs may be a part of your emotional and spiritual journey, teaching you how to trust divine timing. However, it's important to approach these signs with wisdom. Don't rely on them alone to make decisions, but view them as part of the larger picture. If they continue alongside your spiritual growth and inner peace, they may be Allah's way of keeping your heart soft while you wait. 3. Dua feels meaningful. A significant sign that Allah wants you to wait patiently for someone is when making dua for them feels sincere, effortless, and spiritually uplifting. You don't feel burdened or desperate while praying for them. Instead, your heart feels calm, focused, and connected to Allah during those moments. It's not just about asking for that person to be in your life. It's about asking for what's best, for goodness in whatever Allah has written, and for your own heart to stay guided. What's remarkable is that this dua begins to reflect your trust in Allah more than your attachment to the person. You're not begging for outcomes, you're surrendering them. You start asking Allah to bless that person, to guide them, to protect their heart, even if they are not with you right now. And that prayer doesn't drain you, it gives you strength. Over time, this kind of dua becomes part of your spiritual routine. It's not driven by obsession, but by care and sincerity. Sometimes, even when you're not thinking about them, their name naturally finds its way into your supplication. This is often a quiet indication that your connection with that person holds a place in your journey under Allah's watchful plan. 4. Attempts to move on fail gently. Sometimes when Allah wants you to wait for someone, your efforts to move on from them don't fully succeed. Not because you're emotionally stuck, but because your heart isn't fully ready to let go. You may try to distract yourself, focus on other relationships, or convince yourself that it's time to forget. But despite those efforts, something quietly pulls you back. Not in a painful way, but in a way that feels like unfinished purpose. This pull doesn't come with emotional chaos or desperation. It's more like a soft reminder from your soul that the story isn't over yet. You may feel peace with where you are, yet their memory returns gently, especially during moments of reflection or prayer. You might even find that no one else feels quite right, even when they seem ideal on paper. This isn't about being unable to move on. It's about recognizing that some connections carry depth and meaning beyond what the eyes can see. When your heart keeps returning, without bitterness or pressure, it could be a sign that Allah is keeping the door open. In such cases, patience becomes a form of trust. You aren't holding on forcefully. You're simply not being pushed away by fate. 5. Spiritual growth. During waiting. One of the clearest signs that Allah wants you to wait patiently for someone is the way your waiting period becomes a time of deep spiritual growth. Instead of feeling stuck or helpless, you begin to focus more on your relationship with Allah. You turn to prayer, not just to ask for that person, but to seek guidance, clarity, and inner strength. This waiting transforms into a journey of becoming closer to your Creator. You may start reflecting more, reading Quran with a renewed heart, or finding comfort in night prayers and silent du'as. The waiting no longer feels like a pause. It becomes preparation. You notice yourself becoming more conscious of your actions, more aware of your emotions, and more sincere in your intentions. This spiritual maturity begins to shape you into someone better, not just for a potential future with that person, but for yourself and your faith. Often, Allah withholds something not as a punishment, but as a chance to help you grow into the person worthy of what you're asking for. When your spiritual connection deepens during the wait, it's a strong indication that this period is purposeful. You're not just waiting for someone, you're being refined for something greater. 6. Self-development begins. When Allah wants you to wait patiently for someone, another sign is the noticeable improvement in your own character and behavior. You begin to evolve, not because someone asked you to change, but because your heart naturally desires to become better. Patience starts to shape your responses. You handle emotions with more wisdom. Your thoughts become clearer, and your attitude toward life matures. This growth often includes developing emotional control, empathy, and forgiveness. You may catch yourself being more understanding, more respectful of others' timing, and more conscious of how you treat people. Even your goals may shift from short-term wants to long-term values. You start focusing on becoming someone worthy, not just of love, but of trust, peace, and spiritual companionship. These changes are usually subtle but powerful. You're not forcing yourself to change for someone. You're improving for the sake of Allah and naturally becoming someone who could nurture a healthy and meaningful relationship if it's written for you. This period of self-development is not a delay, it's divine preparation. If your waiting leads to personal refinement and better habits, it's likely that Allah is getting you ready, not just to receive what you desire, but to sustain it with wisdom and sincerity. 7. No urgency, just trust. A final sign that Allah may want you to wait patiently for someone is when the feeling of urgency fades and is replaced by quiet trust. You no longer feel rushed to get answers, control the outcome, or seek constant clarity. Instead, you begin to rest in the belief that whatever is meant for you will come at the right time, in the right way. This trust brings emotional balance. You're not anxiously waiting, but you're not walking away either. You're simply content with Allah's plan. This state doesn't mean you've given up. It means you've surrendered. You stop seeking signs just to feel reassured and start living your life with purpose and presence. Your heart is at ease because it relies on divine wisdom, not worldly timelines. Whether that person is written for you or not, you begin to see value in the waiting itself. You start focusing more on today, rather than constantly worrying about tomorrow. This level of tawakkul, complete reliance on Allah, is a powerful indicator that your waiting is not wasted. When urgency disappears and calm trust takes its place, it's a sign that your soul is aligned with divine timing, and that's exactly where Allah wants you to be. If you've seen these signs in your life, know that Allah's delay is never a denial. It's a form of protection and preparation. Waiting with faith is a test, but also a blessing that brings you closer to Him. Trust His timing, keep your heart sincere, and continue making dua. If this video touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Ineer Deen for more Islamic reminders. Comment this below as a prayer. Ya Allah, grant me patience and what is best for my heart. May Allah guide you to what is truly meant for you. Ameen.